Hi and welcome to this video where I will be showcasing how to add aggregated user reviews to any product page or really any page at all. So I made a little short list here of the things we're going to go through in this video. So first, how do we make a basic API request and what are the relevant settings? And then how do we customize the user reviews through our online interface? We call it our client dashboard. This is what you see here in the background. And then we're going to take a look at the two major components of the live API, which is the core is really the JSON response, and then the template file, which interprets the JSON file and the JSON response and presents it nicely in HTML format. And then we're going to also look at how do we customize the template file. So let's get started. So we are on the client dashboard. This is just a test account we use. We can see that it has access to expert reviews, video reviews, and aggregated use reviews. But we're going to be focusing at aggregated use reviews here. So I'm actually going to hide that, hide the expert reviews, and let's hide the videos. And let's start by just doing a request. So we have a preview tab here. We just click and the request is sent and the response comes here nicely. So this was a request for this specific product. We're going to be testing with other products as well. Okay, so let's start talking about the basic live API settings. First, we have two templates. So if I change to business, we can see how it looks here. I'm going to reload that. And we see it looks a little bit different. And then the basic live API settings, you can see explanations here if you hold the mouse over. There's also more information inside the documentation file, which you find here for the live API. So the first setting is, well, the first thing you need to decide on, I should say, that is really which server should you request. And you will, of course, choose the server which is closest to you to have as low access times as possible. So I'm located in Europe, so I'm going to choose co-UK site or server. And then the live API language. Well, the live API language is basically these kind of small texts, like the headers and yeah, the headers basically. So if you choose, you can actually override here. So I can choose, let's say, German, and I reload this. So even though I chose UK as a server, I can override and set German. You see now it's different. Now it's in German. But most common is that you just use a default. We're not gonna go into this one, I guess. But one thing that's really important is the product match method. So when we say product match method, what we really mean is, well, basically when you do a request to our live API, all request is going to look the same. The only thing that's different is really the unique product identifiers that you send with a request, because the unique product identifiers, that is how our live API knows for which product should I return reviews for. So you can request using MPN together with a brand name. So MPN is manufacturer part number, or you can use EAN or UPC, which is really the barcodes, and we treat them the same really. So, and you can actually use both MPN part number and EAN UPC in the same request. That will basically give you higher coverage, because sometimes we don't have the MPN, sometimes we don't have the UPC or EAN. But if any of those exist that you have passed with your request, we will respond with reviews. Okay, so that was really the first part. Now let's try and see if we can download a file here. So this is a template file. So depending on which settings you do here, those settings will be basically reflected in the file you download. So I'm just going to download this. I've already done this before, so I'm just going to overwrite that one. Yes. And then we go to documentation. We choose example files and we just download a simple example. So as you can see, I've done this before, but let me try to find the one here. Okay, let's take a look in the downloads. Here we have it, and I'm going to put it in my test folder, and there I actually already have one. I'm just going to replace that one so we get a fresh file. So what I usually do is I create a JS folder. It's just common practice, and we can rename this. Let's call this something else. Let's call it test1. Okay, and let's take a look at it inside our editor. Let me bring that in view. Okay, so this is the file we downloaded. So you can see it's just a really empty HTML file. We've just added our, well, basically the code that makes a request to our API. You can see that this is the thing that will change depending on product page. So for each product page, you will be passing a different MPN and perhaps a different brand depending on if you're a brand or a retailer. One important thing is that we actually point to where we place the JS file. So in this case, we put it in the JS directory. You can, of course, have a full URL here with, maybe something like this, www.yourdomain.com. If you like to do it that way, that's perfectly possible. But we're just going to use it here because I'm just testing on my local computer. So let's actually open this file in a browser. Actually, let's use Chrome. I prefer that. Okay, there you go. So this is all the reviews we have for this product, review distribution, and the rest. However, let's just make this look a little bit nicer. So we're just going to add a div here, div with a style. Let's make it a little bit less wide. So let's do 800. And let's add some margin to it as well. 20 pixels. Nice. Close and close. Now let's take a look at it, see if there's difference. Yeah, okay, here we see. So this was just the product we used in our, in this simple file. Let's try with another product. So I have prepared a product here. So let me just copy. I'm going to copy the MPN. Let me just get my mouse to this screen. And this is a new MPN, another brand, and let's actually add, we only have the MPN and brand. Let's add the EAN UPC. So you can actually see, okay, it's here. We have made here examples how you can add this. And let's just add this part. This, and we added before. And let me find an EAN for that product as well. Okay. So of course, this is a barcode identifier, EAN or UPC doesn't matter. Even if it's a UPC, you use this data TS EAN. We basically consider EANs and UPCs basically the same thing, same type of identifier. Okay, so we're going to do a request with both. And now we want to reload. And now we're expecting to see actually a different product here, an Acer product. And here we go. So this is Acer product. And we see the various retailers that sell this product. Okay. So let's see in our list, what have we done? We downloaded the test file. We checked out the languages and stuff. And yeah, so let's check the embedded versus a popover version. So here you can actually see, we can actually use this to also add a popover version. So we're going to place this. Usually it's further up on the page. So for instance, on the product page, you're going to have an image on the top and a product name and a buy button and all that. And usually this popover version, clients tend to want to put it because it produces some stars that you can click. So they usually want to have those yellow stars close to the product name or the buy button. But yeah, we're going to need to replace this. So we actually use correct identifiers for this, for the same product. We save. And now you, okay, this one. Now you have to visualize that this is further up on the product page. This is the product page. This embedded version is usually placed in, well, maybe a tabular design, so a tab that's called expert reviews or just reviews. Or if it's a one-page design, then you can put it anywhere. And this would normally be placed somewhere on top or close to the top near the product name. So if I click here, we can actually see the popover version. So I can close it by pressing that, or I can just click somewhere here in the gray area and it will be closed. All right, so that was the embedded version and the popover version. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about product identifiers and why they are so important. So if you do a request that contains product identifiers, which doesn't exist, let's just remove this temporarily and just add some, let's just add some junk here. So of course these will not exist. Let's see what happens. You see, it produced an empty response. So it's very important that you pass identifiers that we have in our system. Now, Testic already have, well, at least a couple of million of these identifiers since we are well involved in the channel, but we cannot be sure that we are using, that we do have the unique product identifiers that you are using in your system. So therefore, we always advise that you send us your product feed. And your product feed is basically a list of all your products. Chances are high that you already have one, then we can, in 99% of the cases, we can work with what you have. But we also have examples for you where we basically show you the data elements that we need to, that needs to be for each product available in the feed. And yeah, it's a, standardized identifiers like UPC, EAN, or MPN. Manufacturer name, that's also required. Product name, of course, required. Product ID, that's your internal product ID. We a link to the product page, an image if you have it. Yeah, category also good if you have it. But there's a few things here that's not required, of course. Okay, so that's a little bit regarding the importance of product identifiers. Changing design template, well, that's very easy. We just basically click here and that's how we can change design. But let's check it out. So I'm going to hide again. So we get only expert review, only use review, sorry. And I'm going to select that server and I'm not going to do any other customizations. Just, okay, we want to change to colorful, of course. And then we save it and we give it another name. Colorful. And then, of course, we need to modify our test file. So we are pointing to the correct template file. And let's see what happens. Yeah, we did change to correct identifiers again. So you see it looks a little bit different. Okay, what's more on our list? Okay, how do we customize the user reviews through the online interface? Interesting. So first thing we need to do is actually to choose custom here. So when I do that, we get a new box with a lot of additional settings. I'm guessing that you want to leave most of this as it is, but we leave you with the option to do changes, of course. First, let's take a look how it looks now. Let's change. I like the business template more, so let's take a look at that one. Okay, we can see here, but let's see what we can change here. So we have general settings. So we can choose, for instance, the summary section. We can choose actually to hide that. The summary section is this part here. So we can choose, you see, so we basically summarize all the reviews we have from the various retailers. You can actually choose to just hide all that. So let's just do that, test it out. And there you go. Now it's hidden. We only see the actual retailer selling the product. I'm going to change it back. Similarly, you can change, you can hide other stuff. And here you can choose, more options, hide and show. Same here, hide and show sections. So basically, for instance, pros and cons. If we reload this section is the pros and cons. You can see here the user review summary, pros and cons. Let's hide that. See what happens. Oh, now it's hidden. All right, working as expected. Now we show and reload and just confirm it's back. So again, all these changes you do are immediately reflected in this file. So when you download it, the changes you made are immediately going to be reflected in the file you downloaded. Perhaps the most important thing when dealing with user reviews is the fact that you will probably not want to link to retailers that are not for the specific country where you're going to show the reviews. So let's say that, so we can see, yeah, let's check for this product. So Acer Chromebook, here's the summary section, and then we have the review listings here. So we see there are 2 UK retailers, and then there are all US retailers. So let's say this was on your US product page. So then you would probably want to hide these 2. So I'm going to showcase how to do that. So let's get back here. No, sorry, here. And okay, so you see here we get the option to actually choose which market we're dealing with. And obviously, but we decided that we want to do a US implementation. So I actually choose US, so English United States. And here are all the various retailers available for US. So when I choose English US, United States, I am basically saying I only want reviews from the US retailers. So basically, when we download this, we're going to expect that these 2 are removed. So let's try that immediately. So we just download. Save link as, and this time it's, yeah, let's do the normal one. Yes, let's replace, but then we need also to point to their correct template file. Okay, and let's take a look. So again, these 2 are expected to disappear. And that's also what happened. And then I also want to talk a little bit about the links going to the retailers. Because this is Acer Chromebook 14 CB3431. So it's a specific model, but it's a little bit generalized because different SKUs they may have small differences. Maybe one have 4 megabytes of RAM, another one have 8 gigabytes of RAM. but we still consider them the same model. We consider that a review for the 8 gigabyte version is still valid for the 4 gigabyte version, and it's because we want to show as many reviews, have as much review data as possible for each SKU. So let's see if we can find. Yes, when I click here I get a link to the retailer. So if I click there, I'm brought to the retailer. We can read the reviews and we can buy the product. So that's good. But let's see if we can find one that actually have several SKUs. That's one SKU. Oh, I hope I'll find one. Yeah, here we go. So you see Best Buy sells 2 different versions of this one. I don't know if I can see sparkly silver. Yeah, both have Celeron process. Yeah, it actually looks very, very similar. But if we open both, maybe we can see the difference. Well, it's not important, but we can see that one have 2 reviews and one have a lot more reviews, or more than 1,000. Okay, so yeah, a little bit just explanation how we merge products, how we think about SKUs. Might be a little bit different than others do it, but we've considered this to be the right way for us and for the purposes that we're working on. All right. So that was okay. Hide sections. We talked about that. Dealing with different languages and markets. We fixed that as well. And now let's actually look on the JSON response and the template file, because I think it's vital that you understand that the templates that we offer, they are, it's free for you to modify these templates. You can also create your own templates from scratch by just looking at the JSON and maybe looking at our templates, modify them, and any way you like. So let's just I'm going to bring up the console here, and I'm gonna okay, I want to look at network, and I'm going to reload this page. So here we can actually see the request going to our server. We see that it's a UK server, which we chose the version of the live API. This is going to be your own unique API key. But there's, I guess, a few more things that's being passed to the server, and it's available in the form data. Actually, quite a lot of parameters. So an and let's look at the JSON. Let's actually decode this, just so you can see the parameters a little bit easier. There we go. So these are basically all the settings we did. You can see here the MPN, the EAN, the brand name, and yeah, a lot of different parameters. But let's actually bring this, let's actually look at the JSON in Firefox. This is an old one I had. Let's bring in the new one. Yeah, because Firefox parses this a little bit more nicely. So here you have all the information you need to build your own implementation. This is what the template file reads and converts to nice looking HTML and JavaScript, of course. Okay, now let's take a look and see if we can't modify a template a little bit. So I'm just going to right click here, inspect, and you see here, if I hold the mouse over, we can add perhaps a little bit more space here below. So what I'm going to do is look for this class. We can see it here, and add a little bit more space in the bottom. Let's actually do it here first. So we have margin bottom 10 px. Let's change it to 30. Now look to the left. You will see we have a little bit more space here. Okay, cool. Now let's change the template file. So it's going to be this one. And we need to find this, the CSS for this one. Here it is. This is a CSS. So we're just going to add that. Let's do it really big, 100, just for demonstration purposes. Like that. And let's just reload. So now we got 100 pixels there. Okay, so I showed you how I would say fairly easy it is to integrate this live API on any product page. There are a lot more information available in the manual, which is this one. And you're always welcome to contact us with any questions you might have. Okay, so that's all, and thank you.